I think you guys know how this is gonna start.
I'm so ready for this.
All right, ready and. Guys, welcome back. It's a dark and stormy day here in Texas. I don't know what it's like over there in California, but hopefully the sun is shining.
It's a little bit smoky out.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
But more than that, oh my God, you guys, you asked for it, you called down the thunder, and now you've got it. We brought Peter France in for the Corridor Cast. I've gotten so many comments about people wanting to talk about Peter, to talk about what he's doing. And, you know, this isn't just hey, come on our podcast and be a guest. This is a new chapter because, guys, our boys come home.
What do you mean by that, Jake?
What do you think I mean, Nick?
Like he's back in LA?
Not only is he back in LA, but Peter has come back to Corridor Digital, and he's going to be with us working on videos, hopefully, you know, from here to whenever.
Until you get sick of me.
Cradle to the grave.
This means that Peter is no longer an intern.
Yes, so
I think I'll pretty much be an intern forever.
I mean, maybe in the hearts of the audience, but officially.
Not in our hearts.
Yeah.
You've officially graduated from intern to creator.
It's
And
an
it only
honor
took
to be a
5
part
years.
of the team, and it's even more of an honor to be on the Corridor podcast right now.
Thank you, man. I mean, so I think we should just start. For those of you who don't know, it was a hot and sunny summer of what year was it? 2015?
2016.
I wanna say 16,
2016.
yeah.
Okay. We put out our first ever hey, submission for interns. And you know, we got what we thought was a lot of people at the time, which was like a couple hundred. Now
That
it's
was a lot for then.
It was a lot for then. And we put out a call, and of that, you know, Peter submitted a video that he was working on called what was it called, Peter?
Driving Force.
Driving Force.
That's it.
Yeah. And so we saw that and we thought, man, this is pretty good. Came in, we interviewed you, and then you immediately just showed up at the studio and started making videos with us, and we were like, where'd this kid come from?
Yeah, that was really weird. That was super intimidating coming in for the first time because I'd been watching you guys for like 5 years at that point.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So that was.
How old were you then, Peter?
I
you
was 18, I think.
You were 18? Okay.
So were you coming out of high school, or were you about to start your senior year?
Yeah, I was coming out. It was my last year.
And then every year after that,
Every summer.
like the ticking of the seasons, like the turning of the seasons, the ticking of the clock, Peter would show up. He'd just come knocking, and we'd all be waiting
No
in the back of our
invitation.
minds. No, and every sort of June or so, you just got the feeling, and then all of a sudden there'd be that knock on the door. Yeah,
It was like clone season. There's this little clone smell in the air.
yeah, and
It smells like formaldehyde. I don't know.
it smells a lot like formaldehyde and shampoo.
Yes.
Shampoo. I guess I use shampoo a decent amount.
That's the first thing I noticed about you. I'm like, this guy shampoos this guy. And he's good at VFX.
I've actually been shampooing less recently. Apparently it's better for your hair.
That's what
Do
I
like
hear.
every 2 or 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah,
Secrets the shampoo industry doesn't want you to know.
exactly. No
So-
sulfates. You don't want sulfates.
Peter, what? I mean, I guess what have you seen over these years? You know, you did 4 years as an intern, and now you're with us full time. I mean, what have you seen from your own eyes as you've sort of grown and as you've watched us grow as well?
Okay, before I answer that question, my audio is so fucked. I'm hearing my own voice.
Oh, okay, yeah, fix it. No, it's okay. The Corridor Cast, we embrace jank over here.
We do. It's time for a little jank music interlude.
Yeah, Nick, get that mandolin.
Let's do
Nick.
it.
Okay, there we go.
Ready?
I'm gonna give a second clap.
Ready?
What are you in E?
Yeah. There you go.
Erase the
Peter?
I don't know what chords you're playing, but yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
Cool.
So-
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We once
So we're talking
had-
about like coming back every year. Did you notice, was it weird coming back every summer to like
Yeah.
a slightly different studio?
I mean, it was super strange for a couple of reasons. Because for one reason, it's like I would go away and then I would watch you guys on YouTube for that whole year. So I felt like I was still hanging out with you. And then I came back and everyone's like, hey, I mean, you guys were all super nice, but it wasn't like we had been hanging out for a year. So it was like this weird like disconnect.
Yeah.
It's pretty strange.
I don't know if
But-
anything's happened like that ever before YouTube and digital media. Like,
It's like a one-way relationship that turns
Yeah.
two ways in certain times. It's very
Yeah.
strange.
well, I was looking back at some of the old vlogs when you first started with us, and I mean, we were working out of Studio 5 for.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think was
Sweat
that your
City.
first summer?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, it was Sweat City. We didn't have air conditioning in 4.
yeah.
And then
Oh, man.
we decided, hey, you know what? It's super hot in here. Let's insulate the ceiling. That was our big.
oh,
It's a big deal, man.
That was our big deal. We moved into that place. It didn't have any insulation. It didn't have any circuitry. We put in all the
Dripping.
internet. Yeah,
was.
Yeah.
90
Every
degrees
summer.
in there every
brutal.
summer.
Albeit there were only like 5, 6 people at once. So,
So we all
you made it work.
sweated collectively less, and it only raised the average temperature like an extra 2 degrees. Instead
Would
of
you
like
find
4.
that when there were more people, the temperature would get higher just based on the amount of people?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Damn.
It
Yeah.
gets, I mean, we found that out, I think, right before you finally broke down and bought the AC machines.
I couldn't do it anymore.
And we were
man.
at like 12 people, 11 people. That was like
Were we?
2 years ago.
Was there that many people before we got AC?
I think it was like that, like 2 summers ago, right? And it was like Gabe and Jarrett was in the studio and Carmichael. We were all in
Yeah.
there, so it got pretty hot. Maybe it wasn't that much, but
So when we were in Studio 5, we were just doing the installation in 4, and then I remember the day they put in air conditioning into that unit. Were you there when that happened?
Oh, yeah.
They put in 3, and boom, they turned them all on at the same time, and it was like a dream.
Heaven.
It was.
It was amazing.
and then
It
we
wasn't
go over
painful.
to Studio 4, and it was like all dusty under construction,
It was like
post-apocalyptic.
haunted in there. Had to
Yeah.
go through the blue tarp.
We have like a vlog where we're like, we have to go in and it's all hazy and like, it's like,
So weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was strange.
So there was nobody in the studio hardly at that time. I mean, all, the 3 of us were there, but man, just and then I started to notice, like, as he'd come back every year, thinking to myself, man, every time Peter comes back, there's just more stuff in this studio. I wonder what he thinks is going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed more like official each time and more like I mean, you guys have always known what you were doing, but it seems like you got it down to a formula now. And it's really impressive. Like each time coming back,
Well, that's good to hear, because it doesn't always feel like that.
means
it definitely
we're
looks like it
making
from the
progress.
outside.
Sometimes sometimes it feels like we're just flying by the seat of our pants, and sometimes we are. But other times not so much.
That's the fun way to do it.
Yeah. So you've been working on a few different videos since you started with us. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there was the summer of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
God.
That was like 2 summers of Spider-Man, right? Oh, that was a long
Well, it was-
project, no?
Yeah, we like shot it over that school year when I was in school. Just completely disregarded academics and shot that. And then over that summer, just like every day in the studio. I remember you, Jake, you would like come in at like 11 p.m. to like get something and I'd be like, oh, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
It's like multiple times.
chugging away. Okay, so walk us through what that process. Walk the viewers, like the audience, through what that process was like for you. How did it start? How did you come up with the idea? Like, what was
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved Spider-Man. I was like raised on the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those were like my favorite growing up. I still really I think Spider-Man 2 is probably like my favorite movie. It's just so good. But yeah, so I'd always wanted to make one. And then I think Nick and Carmichael and I were driving back from the desert when we shot the Peter 42 clone thing where I was like running on the one wheel.
Yes.
And
the hurrah.
Yeah,
dude.
That was weird. But I forget how it came up, but Carmichael and I were talking about like a Spider-Man video, and he was like talking about he wanted to do one or something. I was like, maybe I'll do one. So I was just, I had that in my head.
I'll make a fully CG Spider-Man film instead.
Exactly. So yeah, I had that in my head, and then over those next few months, I was like writing it, and I don't have the most elegant writing process. It's pretty much just like get the bare bones of a story, and then get really excited about the spectacle, and just get caught up with that, and not pay as much attention to the story, which I kind of pay for later. But so yeah, I wrote the script, and I was originally going to do a Kickstarter, which I'm so glad I didn't have to do, because I think, yeah, I called you, Jake, and I asked what the legality of that was, and you were like, it's probably fine, but send over your script, and I had done a teaser too, and you said to send that over, and I did. You guys offered to pay me the money to make it, which was amazing, and like super generous of you guys.
The promise was in the trailer that you did, and then the thing was, it was about the cost of making a YouTube video anyway.
Oh wow.
So the way that I saw it was just, it was an opportunity to say, okay, well, this is what it would cost to make pretty much any YouTube video to begin with, and then also it's an opportunity for you to continue to hone your skills, and then if we can post it, then it's one more video for us. It's a learning experience for you. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
So that was, I feel like it was a good thing for everybody.
No, totally. And I remember, I forget which video it was, but I remember one time Nico was talking about how some dude in a warehouse across from you guys was like super generous and just let you guys use the warehouse. And he was like, I hope we get to pass on that favor one day. And so I feel like that was kind of the next incarnation of that. And it was just really sweet of you guys. And I really appreciate it.
Just using the warehouse, man. Just, know.
Yep.
Good, yeah. And then you shot it, and then during production, didn't you lose a day of footage?
I hate when that happens.
Didn't that happen?
But then it turns out Sam was like, "Oh, there's an easy fix for that." Like 6 months later, and I was like, "God damn it!" Yeah,
and you were shooting on the Red camera, right?
Yeah, you guys. For some reason, you lent me your Red camera. I don't know how you trusted me with that. I guess it was the lesser expensive one, but
yeah, it was, and I figured that it was like part of the, it was part of the shoot. And if we were gonna go about and shoot a video, then we'd use a camera.
That's a good point. Camera. Yeah, so I was shooting on the Red, and I shot this whole day of footage. I had to light this whole kitchen scene and put up a green screen and everything. Shot it, and I was pretty happy with it. And then I just put the card in the red SD card reader, and it just fried it or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah, lost the whole day.
Ooh.
Had to shoot that one again, which was not
still
fun.
Don't know what happened?
No, I have no idea. I think Sam said it was something with just a format error, and there's a really easy fix, but I didn't know that at the time, so sucks for me, I guess.
Murphy's Law. Yeah, so right as you reshoot it.
So wait,
it's there's a fix.
Mm-hmm.
So you reshot that entire day?
Yeah. I mean, thankfully it was a half day. It was just a small interior scene, so it wasn't too bad, but it was definitely really frustrating.
Were you more or less frustrated when you found out that there was a fix for it, or when you found out that you had to reshoot the day?
When there was a fix for it, because honestly, any chance to reshoot something I love, because you just get another try at making it much better. The short film I'm working on right now, we did a lot of reshoots, and the cast and crew weren't too happy about it, but it's so much better now. And so yeah, I really don't mind reshooting things, because it just gives you another chance,
Definitely.
So when you got it all in the can, about when was that? Because I think you started the process, you started the shooting process when you got into school that year, so that would have been...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we started around February, and then it ended a week before the video came out or something. I had to get that last shot of the cake falling on the ground or something like that. So it lasted pretty much the whole time.
But when did you finish the majority of principal photography? Was that
principal photography? Yeah, it was the last week of school I finished up.
Okay, so you shot from February to May effectively.
Substantial.
It wasn't like we were shooting every day. It would be like weekends here and there, you know.
Yeah. And then post started.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, with post, I was like taking my sweet old time in the beginning there, like making that Spider-Man 3D model and doing lots of tests and things.
Yeah.
And then July rolled around and I was like, shit, I've got like 3 shots done. And so I decided I'm going to get ahead of it and I'm going to start coming in every day and on weekends and staying late. And that way I won't be going right up to the edge of the deadline.
Yeah.
And then I went up to the deadline and I passed the deadline and then I passed the next deadline.
That's what deadlines are for, rescheduling.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way of thinking.
So, and then you didn't even have it done when you went to school, right? When you went back to school?
Oh, yeah. God, it was so long ago.
I just want to
Yeah.
clarify, though, this was all you working on this, though, right? Like, you were the post team as far as
Yeah,
VFX goes?
I think
or
Gabe
did you
helps
have
me
help?
with some roto.
Okay.
But yeah, besides that, I did all the effects. Which
So you had to-
is nice for the ego, but in practice isn't that fun.
Yeah.
Did you have kind of like the expectation of like, oh, I'm just gonna like bang this out, like, like,
Yeah,
no breaks, and it seems like that wasn't possible because we're all human.
definitely
so.
not. I mean, yeah, I was probably like overly ambitious with it, and there were even like 20 more effect shots that were going to be in it that I think Sam and Ren were like, just cut those. You don't need them. That's stupid. But yeah, I always make the mistake of thinking things are going to take like way less time than they actually are. So it ended
know
up
that
biting me
feeling.
in the ass, but I'm happy with how it turned out. So honestly,
Heck
no
yes,
regrets.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows, man. It really shows.
Thanks. Yeah.
Now,
Over
did you,
ambition is a blessing, I think, because you can always rein it back. You know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
you can. I feel like there is that moment though in any project where, and I'm feeling this now on something I'm working on, but you start to add the layers of quality, and then you do one quality thing over on this side, and then you look back on another
Imbalanced.
side, and you go, wait a minute, this is completely off balance in terms of its quality. I need to do that shot, and then it's like, oh well, now that I set that level, I need to make sure that all of it is like that. And there's an art, I think, in and of itself, just understanding where a visual and an overall quality of a piece should live.
Yeah.
just even in the approach of something. Because there's always the tendency to like, well, I want it to be perfect, and so I'm going to try to set out to do it that way, and then you realize in July you've only done 3 shots, and you're like, okay, well, I need to adjust this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Something I've found to be really helpful with that kind of thing is like in the short film I'm working on now, instead of like going through chronologically and doing all the effects to the level of quality that I would want them to be at, I'm doing like bare bones versions of each shot, so it's more of an iterative process. And that way, like if there's I don't have a deadline, but if there was a deadline, if I needed to, I could turn something in, and then just keep working on it and perfecting it. But
Yeah.
like-
That's a smart way to do it.
Are you starting with like mock-ups? Is it just like really like roughed out VFX, or is it just kind of like you did like a quick pass on it, make it passable, and then if you want to spend more time on it, you can do that later?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell myself I'm going to do like the shadeless mock-ups with just the grayscale thing, but then I'm in the project and I just like get too invested in it, and I'm like, oh, but it would look good if I did this, and so I end up rendering like a decent quality one when I should just be doing like the pure animation and then moving on. So I still get stopped up a little bit, but it definitely helps.
Man. Well, you're a one-man VFX army, man. I mean, Spider-Man Cake Day was, chef's kiss.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
It's all about
that.
that final shot of the dropping the cake. That's
Aw. I think my dad
Last-
suggested that, so props to my dad.
it. Nice.
Today's episode is brought to you by Storyblocks. They've sponsored this podcast in the past, and we use Storyblocks all the time around here at Corridor Digital. We use them for B-roll, we use them for motion graphics, we use them for sound bites and After Effects templates, and more. They're our one-stop shop for all of our stock asset needs. With an all-access unlimited plan, you can download as much from Storyblocks as you need, and it's all royalty-free. So whether we're working on a commercial or something for YouTube or just something for us here around the studio, whatever you download from Storyblocks, you can use across all platforms royalty-free. The best part, most of it comes in beautiful 4K, and they're constantly updating their site. So every time we go on there, there's something new for us. Even if you're just a video creator that's starting out, Storyblocks is something that you're gonna wanna consider moving forward. The more and more videos that you make, the more and more your need for B-roll is going to increase, because there's just little moments, little connective tissue between things that you're gonna need to make moments work on camera and in video, and that's exactly what Storyblocks can help you do. So just head on over to storyblocks.com/corridorcast or click the link in the description below, and you'll be able to see everything they have to offer. That's storyblocks.com/corridorcast. Once again, huge thanks to them for making this podcast continue to be possible. And now, back to the episodes and the adventures with Peter France.
So tell us what you're working on now. I mean, you've got this little. I saw it months ago.
Don't even think about that.
And
Erase that from your brain.
Okay, well, just tell me this: is there still a man rollerblading in a square?
Oh yeah,
This is
at the
intriguing.
beginning. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
So far, that was my favorite part.
That's awesome, because there's a lot more of that in the movie now. A lot of rollerblading. Man, that
Rollerblade
okay, so
heavy.
yeah, basically, I went to school in San Francisco, and I really love that city, and they're having this epidemic right now, not coronavirus level epidemic, but kind of surface level epidemic with scooters, with electric scooters getting like littered all over the place. It's honestly not that bad. People are just freaking out about it. But yeah, I guess you guys have this in LA
San Francisco
too.
problem I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I gotta
know.
say, it's just kind of like a 2020 thing. If there was like a couple things that like in 20 years or 30 years when they're doing like films set in the 20s,
Yeah,
it's gonna be like,
Oh, totally.
art department's gonna be searching for piles of fucking discarded bird scooters on the corners.
Yeah, just like
broken
rolling up in
pieces.
the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Instagram account is Bird Graveyard. It's just like people beating the shit out of scooters.
You gotta wonder how that is profitable with all those losses.
if you're a hoarder, start saving the bird scooters now, because a movie production is going to come along in about 20 years, and they're going to want to rent those
Damn.
from you.
I got a few
those
from
2020
filming, so
vibes.
I better hang on to those.
Okay, yeah, make sure you do.
Yeah.
Those will be valuable one day.
So yeah, there are these scooters, and my friend and I rollerblade a lot. We would always go rollerblading downtown, like in between cars and stuff. We would like do that on Saturdays. It was really fun, and we've always wanted to make a video out of it. This is the guy who is the bad guy in Spider-Man.
Okay.
The guy in the green suit. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, his name is Matt. He's a buddy of mine, and we decided to make a movie about a rollerblader who hates those scooters and wants to get rid of them, but then happens to meet like a fully CGI robot made out of the scooters, and they like slowly become friends, and they just like try to take down the scooter corporation, and it's like an action comedy film based around that.
It's sentient, the scooter robot.
And
It's fully sentient. It gets struck by lightning. There's no explanation for it.
Gotcha. But it's like this amalgamation of like scooter parts that
Exactly.
turns into human. That's
It's just
cool.
like a bunch of little scooter scraps, and I'm using the motion capture suit and doing like full body mocap for
nice.
the
In
character
Unreal?
and everything.
Are you, or is this all in Blender?
No, yeah, it's in Blender.
That's so
it's
cool.
it's this company called Rococo. They lent me a suit, and I'm gonna do some promotions and stuff for them. But yeah, it's amazing. It's like the same thing as the XN suit you guys got.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're sworn enemies actually.
Really, Rococo and XNs. Yeah, okay.
Are they? Because they're gonna have to fight to the.
No, they're
they're
not.
gonna have to fight to the death, because Sam is supposed to come over and do some sort of live capture with them.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
On Friday.
Rococo is. They
Okay.
want to work with Sam, so it's awesome.
I show up in the doorway in my Rococo suit.
It's just,
Bring it over.
they're like, we'll set up a live stream for Friday, and then no one shows up, and then Peter eerily shows up sometime.
Hey,
and
Sam.
He's in one of the yeah. Hey Sam.
Nice. What are you
Sam's
wearing?
like motion capturing,
Yeah,
and,
what are
and
you
his
wearing?
model just like switches to another mocap feed. Like, wait a second, whose motion is that?
I'm doing the mocap now.
Yeah, it steals
hacked into my mocap.
steals your motion.
Oh, that would
Stop
be funny,
hitting
like
yourself,
in a Pacific
Sam.
Rim type movie, you know, where they use the
Yeah.
mocaps to control the robots. It's like
Yeah.
someone else's mocapping the robots.
Funny. That'd
There's
be
a-
funny to like make a film about like motion capture that controls someone else, like
Oh yeah.
start
Oh my
controlling
God.
Sam's actual body.
Well, they have those
Yeah.
exoskeletons for the military. Have you seen
Dude,
those?
that's it right there.
Dude, and so somebody gets in a mocap suit and somebody
It
gets an
reminds me-
exoskeleton.
Of like Wallace and Gromit, the wrong trousers. Did any of you either see? Like, did you guys see that?
I think
I
I've-
watched
I
Chicken
think I've
Run
seen
so
that.
recently, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
So same studio. It's like an animated series by I think Nick Park is his name. But dude, there's a scene like basically he gets stuck in these pants that control him, and he's just
Yeah.
like a puppet. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
God.
seen that.
It'd be like that, but with a full exoskeleton.
I love that animation style. It's so
We
good.
should do
It's
that. That's a
amazing.
good idea. We should do that.
It's like runaway.
I'm not getting that
motion
suit.
capture.
I thought you were gonna say I'm not gonna do the effects for it.
Oh, I'll
that's
do the
fine.
effects. I just don't want to get in that suit. I don't want to break my back.
And I'll do them in a day.
I can do it, man. I swear.
So, oh, go on.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. So back to the video. You built a sentient CGI that gets struck by lightning out of parts of a scooter.
Yep.
Now, you captured all of this entirely on set live with a mocap suit.
I wish I did. For the first half of shooting, we didn't have the motion capture suit. I didn't even think of that as feasible, but then I saw the Rococo people who were making that kind of thing, and only then did I reach out to them to get one, but they sent me one, and so for the second half of filming, we had it. But then for some days we didn't, like, the data got lost. So for the majority of it, I'm going to be doing it myself and just syncing it up with the dialogue. But for when it did work, it was amazing. Such a great tool to have on set.
What's with you losing motion capture data, Peter?
Dude,
What do you mean?
was that definitively me? Did I screw that up?
There's a rumor from
There's a
last
theory.
summer that Peter lost a bunch of mocap data for the
I'm
Bosstown
so
Dynamics.
sorry. I got that call from Clint and my heart just sank. I felt so bad. You guys had to reshoot it, right?
Yeah, we did, and it was like you said. I mean, a reshoot. It turned out for the better, but
For Bosstown too.
yeah, I don't actually know what happened with that footage because we dumped it, and then it had all the file numbers, and then all of a sudden the file numbers just skipped. Like
Weird.
it just decided that it wasn't going to capture those from like 11 a.m. to like whatever it was. Just
I seem to
gone.
remember like they had run into that problem before with capture. So
Oh, really?
You know, whether it was you
I'm off
or
the hook.
someone else, it wasn't the first time.
It's not definitive. It's not definitive. So you just filmed somebody on set and then you tracked them manually and replaced them? Or-
Pretty much. I mean, we got the person acting on set. We did it like Andy Serkis style, or I guess Irishman style, because they didn't have any tech on set. We just like recorded them, got the clean plate, and then what I was doing for VFX was like manually animating it to match up the movement. But now I'm just like looking at what he did on set with my motion capture suit on and like trying to roughly do it. And it's a bit janky, but it works well enough.
So what about did you have moving camera shots and things like that?
Yeah, so for that, for anything where the camera wasn't moving, we would just have the main actor and the guy who's going to be the scooter in the same shot, because you know you can just track in the background plate and slap it over them. But for any of the moving camera stuff, we would do the first one with both actors and just have them run through it to get the choreography. And then for the second take, we would take Scooter Guy out and just have him behind the camera saying lines, and then my buddy Matt just acting with nothing.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
did you find that you're mostly using that second take then in the animation?
Pretty
Or, Sorry,
much.
in the actual edit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. It's really interesting to hear everyone's like motion capture workflows for on set and like what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from you guys shooting the Bosstown video. That was really helpful.
Yeah, that was a whole thing in itself. If there was one thing that you picked up that you would like want to pass on to anyone trying to shoot mocap on set, what would it be from this project?
Just take your time getting it set up, because sometimes, you know, with the shoot, it's like time's running out and you gotta get something, you gotta get a shot, and a lot of the time on set I would be like, we'll just do the motion capture later. Yeah, get flustered and just decide to do it later or something. But it's just never as good doing it later, because if you have two actors in the same scene, they can play off of each other, and it just feels a lot more like the scenes where we actually got the motion capture on set feels much more natural than when I'm doing it later. So
Makes sense.
definitely everything you can do to get it done on set is super helpful.
Now, what kind of post nightmare did you set yourself up for here? I mean, how long is the piece?
It's 22 minutes.
22 minutes?
Yeah.
It's 22 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my God. Why didn't you just go and make it an hour and a half at this point?
I mean, if someone will buy it and give me the money to make it an hour and a half, I would love to. If Corridor wants to do a Corridor website original, I wouldn't say no.
So, and throughout, what, 10 or more minutes, you have this robot in every shot?
Probably like 20 minutes he's in the shot.
20
minutes
out of
of robot.
20 out of 22 minutes, you have a robot?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
You're a
I mean,
madman.
honestly, like, I'm gonna hate myself for saying this later, but it's not too bad, because, you know, the workflow is basically just like, I edit it. I have the footage of the dude in the edit with the clean plate underneath, and so when I go to do the VFX for a scene, I just bring the whole clean plate into the shot, bring in the mocap data, and bring in the audio, and then I just record the mocap data, track the shot, light it, and render it. There's really no like extra tweaking I have to do, which is nice.
Yeah.
What about the model itself? That's already done and rigged and does all
Yeah.
the work once you got it? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I was
good.
using this really cool software called Substance Painter. I don't know if anybody in the studio uses it, but it's really cool. You basically just like bring in your 3D model, and it calculates like the edges of things and where there are crevices and things like that. So it can put like the edge of like something that's metal that was painted. It can have like the paint chipped off on the edges. So it adds like a lot of little nice details.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you use that on Willy Wonka R-rated? Is that where I've heard of that before? Or
Did I don't think I did.
okay, maybe it was
Yeah.
Ren who told me about it. But
Probably. I think
it
Ren's
sounds
talked
like
about
a
it
really cool
before.
program.
So if you're working with us now, when are you going to finish this thing? Is this something that, do we need to do another thing here where you distribute this on Corridor, or what do we, how do we work this in here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The current plan is to just work nights and weekends on it, because I wouldn't want it to cut into Corridor time. But
Yeah.
I definitely think about that. You know, it would be awesome having that kind of audience for it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how good it is, huh?
I guess so.
We'll have to
It's
see that
definitely a lot
trailer.
better than what you saw, so don't worry about that.
Okay, well that's encouraging, because what I saw wasn't bad. I was able to put on my CG goggles and see through it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You have a little bit of credibility built up, you know.
I guess
yeah.
You've done a couple of VFX related things in the
Couple
past.
things.
not much timeline credibility, but some results credibility.
I mean, results are all that matters.
So now that now that we've got sort of an unlimited time frame here, I'd love to hear. Well, actually, from both you and Nick. Like, Nick, you've sort of been the auteur of these rated R pieces. You know, you've been the guy that's sort of been like directing the group and sort of coming up with the overall cuts for them. I mean, the stuff you did with Willy Wonka, the stuff you did with Home Alone, all that stuff was very, very much additive from the original property. I mean, is there something now with Peter, with Ren, with Clinton, Sam, Nico, obviously Matt? I mean, we have a whole stable now of artists, and pretty much when it comes to like readapting stuff,
Sure.
there's almost a limitless universe in which we can.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's some more rated R ideas, and I look forward to, getting together with you, Peter, and the rest of the VFX boys and hammering some out. We have a couple ideas for some upcoming ones. We have Star Trek, which
yeah.
we're super excited about.
Yeah.
I think it's like just waiting to be made rated R because, you know, it was, and this is the original one made back in the day. So it was, I mean, just the standards of violence and like action were just so much different back then. So like everything is, and you know, the cameras are locked off in wide shots for almost all the action. It's like, I wonder what we could bring to this that could make it a little bit more of our age. So.
Didn't they used to do the beam me up Scotty effect with like putting sparkles in water and stirring them and then comping it onto?
That's awesome.
I'm
We got to
pretty
do a
sure-
video where we do effects like that.
Yes. There's
special effects, visual effects.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Coming out this weekend, actually. I'm not sure when this episode's dropping, but the next VFX Artist React, number 33, we covered 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's
wow.
the end scene when he's going through the wormhole. There's like this really cool, it's called slit scan technique, I think. And we want to do something where we recreate that. So I think I'm just stoked to have you on board, you know, because obviously you're a VFX talent, but I feel like we can really expand on some of these ideas of like hands-on VFX, like recreating old ideas. We don't have to limit ourselves to R-rated. So those are fun though. I mean,
Yeah.
I always
Watching
love
those
doing
Star
that.
Wars documentaries about how they did
So
all those
cool.
effects in camera, it's crazy.
I think that would be a really fun series to pursue, you know, like go and see if we can recreate and maybe add to any of these old techniques. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, we're only going to be the stronger for having you on. It's about time, gosh dang it. Come on, Peter.
About gosh dang time, boys.
Well, I appreciate that. It's an honor to be back.
Yeah, we
There
can't
is
shoot you with
a,
arrows anymore, though.
There is an
Carmichael's not here
idea that we
anymore.
had to do a VFX with like first version Adobe.
Yes.
And to see if it can actually.
Oh, you mean like CS2
Like
or
CS1,
something?
Yeah.
bro. After Effects version 1.
Yeah,
would
you
be
get it
amazing.
set up on
Yes.
on a system that'll run it, and then you see what you can do with it.
We just have
call
to
it Andrew Kramer.
Yeah. So it would be fun to just see like who can make like the craziest VFX shot. You know?
We should
That'd be great.
call Andrew Kramer actually
just
for
in general.
that episode.
How you
See
doing,
he's
man?
doing. Yeah.
Hey man,
haven't heard
how you
from
doing?
him.
How's the kids? Good. Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to say hi.
Later. Boop.
Oh, also, do you want to help us with this video? Okay.
I would love to get Andrew Kramer like involved in our next R-rated, or you know,
Oh, that would be awesome.
just like maybe one of those old school VFX videos as well. That could be really
Yeah.
fun.
Totally.
Yeah,
He'd
man.
be good. He'd be particularly though. He'd be good for that using old software to do modern VFX because obviously
very interesting.
he's
yeah.
probably knows more about those than the developers.
Oh yeah, those first few tutorials he did were in like After Effects CS negative 500 BC. So
Negative 500 BC. What version is that? Oh, it's BC version.
honestly, that's the whole Adobe suite is BC versions.
Oh yeah.
Interesting tidbit on visual effects and special effects. We've been talking a lot about them. A lot of people don't know. Visual effects and special effects are different. Visual effects is often used with the same in the same sentence as CGI. But what that means specifically, visual effects and special effects are effects that are captured in camera, meaning that you point the camera at something and something happens in the real world. Whether
Something
that's
special happens.
yeah, so
Very
whether that's
special.
smoke or an actual squib or an actual explosion or what have you, and then you take that footage and you put it into your final shot. Whether or not you meddle with it or do anything else with it after is a separate thing. But that's what special effects are, and then visual effects are when you take footage and then you add things on top of the footage in post once you've already captured it. So we get a lot of questions about that.
Get that out of the way.
Yeah, get that out of the way.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
we
there's
can
sound
move
effects,
on.
which is also SFX. So it's all confusing.
Yeah, and then there's super confusing nomenclature when you talk about sound effects being SFX.
And then SFX also means makeup, like special effects.
Right.
Like that's
Special
also
effects
in that
makeup.
category.
Yes, that's true.
Ay.
Ay. So now that we're all working together and we're working from home, do you guys foresee any issues with that? Or
Dude, I got Wi-Fi from negative 500 BC.
you're not on? Are you on that McDonald's Wi-Fi?
I'm on
Dude, that
that McDonald's
McWi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, son.
Because Nick's been on that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
I was for a while, and then I upgraded. I got that Wendy's Wi-Fi now. It's better. Yeah, a little bit better. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to when we can all work in the studio again.
Me too. Yeah, I've been working from home for the last year doing freelance VFX. And so I was
Yeah.
like, sweet, I finally get to go and have coworkers in a work environment, go work at Corridor, and then nope. Working
Dude,
from home.
it's so weird. I think, you can speak to that, but I'm sure we've hired a lot of new people in the last couple months since this
Yeah.
thing's been going on, and it must
It's
be
crazy.
odd for them as well. It's like, for Daniel, who came on to do the vlogs, I know he watched the vlogs for a long time, and he was kind of in your shoes as well, where it was like, you have someone who has a perspective of being a fan coming in, and then they come in and it's like no one's in the studio ever. It's like,
Yeah, well, we're filming out of there all the time. Which
Yeah,
is, so
yeah.
people are wondering, then you see all of our videos and we're in the studio. It's because we go there to film things together.
Yep.
But then when we do post, we usually do post from home.
Yeah, and I think it's been a good compromise for this. How can we keep making stuff and still be safe and aware of the coronavirus?
Right.
Yeah.
It is, I think, kind of confusing and maybe triggering to some people though, seeing us in the studio filming. And I get it. I totally get it.
It's triggering me.
Yeah, because we basically made a agreement with each other, which was let's try our best to keep our personal bubbles to our work, us at work,
Yeah.
and significant
Yeah.
others, and me and Christian and Clint went out of town last week, and we had to get tested before coming back into the studio with everyone. So we're
wow.
trying to be conscious of it, but
Yeah, that seems like the smartest way to do it because Corridor is a small company, and it seems like as long as everybody's keeping their bubble small, it's perfectly safe.
yeah,
Yeah.
and, get tested
exactly.
a lot. So
Yep. And then anytime you go and do something extra, people have been going and getting tested, and then
Get a
we
little
have
brain scratch.
yeah. And people have we're gonna have extra people come on set in October here when we do a few of these productions. So we'll have to make
Gotcha.
sure. I'm just thinking, we just have people a few days beforehand get tested, then we do temperatures and everything
Yeah.
on set, and then But other than that, it's been working pretty well.
Knock on wood. Our safety precautions have kept us safe so far. Knock on wood. Dobie, get out of here.
Yeah. Adobe's
hear
cousin,
you.
the god of
Oh god.
pandemic.
Cody.
Yeah. Corona, Caranthos.
Coroni.
Karobi.
Oh God.
We are finishing Studio 3 though, so
So excited.
So hopefully towards the end of the year, next year, what have you, once things start to level back out, people will be able to use that more and more. We will be moving the stuff into there. This is another announcement for the croutons.
Woo!
We'll be moving stuff up into Studio 3 in October.
So
It's-
soon.
Yes,
I'm
it's
excited.
right around the corner. And Steve went in there the other day, and he
Wait.
didn't have.
Was Steve? What was his reaction? Was it angry or was it happy?
the wall?
Was it? Well, was it holy shit? I like what
So
you've done
I-
with the place.
I think he overall he likes what we've done with the place
Okay.
because it's gonna ultimately it helps him too,
Yeah.
because if we're not in there, ideally we're in there for the indefinite future, but if any day we're not in there, then he has this really nice studio that he can lease out. So I don't think he's too upset about it. But
Dude.
I was talking to Guillermo, and Guillermo did say yeah, Steve came by. He had some things to say, but that's how he phrased it. He had some things to say.
It's gonna be like night and day from the old janky like loft that it was. I can't wait.
Oh,
I went in
man.
there like 2 weeks ago and I saw you guys had all the dividers, like the little cubicle dividers.
We
not
have
cubicles.
cubicles?
Well, not
It's
cubicles.
not
It's a half
cubicles,
wall. It's half
bullpens.
wall. Yeah.
It's bullpens with
I'm
half
out.
walls. Damn it, Nick! Why'd you tell him?
You have gray carpet cubicles.
We have
We
gray
got
carpet
cubicles and
cubicles.
halogen lights. Yeah.
Yeah, with halogen lights, and every cubicle has a manager.
Yep. Little kitten posters with
In front
inspiring
of Mr.
phrases.
Incredible.
And you're gonna make phone calls out of there all day, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be excited to cut out at 4:30.
Oh god, I'm gonna like hear footsteps behind me, and then I'm just gonna like feel Jake's presence looking over my shoulder.
I feel like we need a TPS report
pop
joke.
I pop up over a cubicle.
Yeah.
Here.
No, I think it's like a cubicle in the best sense of the term, because it's
It's a bullpen.
yeah, it's basically just wire management in a wall.
Gotta keep the
Yeah.
bulls in.
Lots of
Yeah,
AC
exactly.
power cords for our computers and stuff. So
Nice.
really good.
Because I just wanted to like kind of put channels together, in general, and so
Oh, like different
that way,
teams.
that way, like Nick's not yelling across the
Yeah.
floor to Dean. Like
Yeah.
there's a certain level of logic there.
Oh, I'm gonna miss
hopefully-
that, honestly. The chaos.
It's gonna
my
be
God.
different, but there's still gonna be chaos. Don't worry. I mean, look, we're still all gonna be in a room working together. It's just we're gonna be in a different room.
It's
There's just gonna be more rooms, really.
when you want to film, if you have on the new post production floor, you have the right to tell somebody to shut the fuck up and go to the go to the shooting floor.
Like it just gives us a
That's
place to
the-
banish people.
Yeah, it's like,
get
look,
outta here.
yeah, you guys filming? Go into the other studio.
It legit is a problem, like currently, and it has been for the last year and more
Yeah.
than that. Just like when you're shooting, there's so many things going on that you often have to be like, guys, shh, quiet. Like,
Right.
and
Now we have another room that you can
Yeah.
go to do that.
and it's never easy because it always like throws off the people you're telling. They're always in some passionate, creative discussion or something, and
Right.
it can be a little bit hindering. So at least we'll have spaces to do that now.
And then people's feelings get hurt, and then we have to have a conference about it, and we have to bring in a moderator.
There was one time, Jake.
There was one time where he told me to be quiet, and I was really engaged with a conversation with Sam, and you told me to quiet on set, and I never
I
recovered.
lost it.
There you go.
I trashed the studio.
Yeah, dude.
You
And then
show up at night when everyone's gone and just trash the place. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So hopefully that won't happen.
No promises.
do you think one day
no
like the
promises.
corridor office is going to be like some big futuristic building? It'll be like all chrome, like on top of a
Everything's
mountain.
floating.
Like, yeah, dude. It's going to be
No,
just
I mean, you know about the Brickist, Nick.
Oh, do I know about the Brickist?
Do you know
Yeah.
about the Brickist, Peter?
The brickest.
Yes. So we can't
This
even
is a
if it's
common theme.
even if the building is in a spaceship in another galaxy, we still have to keep the brick because
Of course.
that's the whole vibe.
Yeah,
Now,
it's like
The white
Such a
painted
vibe.
brick.
yeah,
now Steve,
just cool hanging out, casual.
when Steve went to go and get everything like re-registered or whatever, the guy that was signing off on
building inspector, yeah.
the building inspector was a grade A brickist.
Certified institutionalized brickist.
Yeah, he was an
Oh, it runs
institutional-
deep. No, I'm serious. It does. Like
So
we got a lot of
bricks
comments
for a living.
No,
He hates brick. He hates brick.
He hates brick.
Oh,
He hates
brickist as in like
He hates
racist or
yes, brickist.
He hates them. He can't
Yeah.
stand them. He thinks
Those
they
damn
kill
bricks.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
they do. They're dangerous, especially in California, which is like we have a lot of seismic activity.
Yeah,
so.
to his credit, we got a ton of seismic activity, and the brick buildings have been falling down for decades, killing people.
But
Those
dude, you
damn
can't
redstones.
quite get that like
Exactly.
relaxed, like Drake and Josh's room, like hanging out vibe from like a plaster wall. You can't do it, you know? Like
It's just what you got some steel and some plaster.
some exposed wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, get out of here. No,
Get outta
You want the
here.
brick. You want the brick. So we had to deal with that, but as long as we keep the brick, I think Steve's gonna be happy.
it'll keep the brickists away too.
Yeah. Some people
I
are
hope-
just ignorant.
I
Yeah.
hope Steve lives as long as he possibly can, But I hope also that when he dies, part of his spirit comes and haunts the building.
I think it's already
yes,
haunting the
dude.
building.
Dude, Steve's been dead for 20 years.
Look back at the videos, there's a shot of just nothing.
Okay, so I do have one final topic here. Now,
Getting
and
serious.
Peter, I don't know if you've thought about this. Okay, so answer carefully.
Jesus.
You have one chance.
Springing a question on you that you did not know I was going to ask. When we bring in the next intern, okay, now, do you have words of advice for them? Are you going to treat them
You're bringing in another
harsher?
intern.
You're not the intern anymore, Peter.
Kidding
I
me?
haven't even. This is my first day, and you're already. The ink hasn't even dried, and you're bringing in another intern.
I mean, we can keep you as intern officially if you want, but you're going to have to get used to moving into employee status, Peter. I know, it's going to be weird.
Oh, God. I guess so.
He's been with us for like 20 years, and there's a sign on his desk.
Can I get you guys a coffee or anything?
Peter, drop the intern gag, man.
Damn, advice for a future intern.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess relax. I mean, I'm an anxious person, so like coming into the studio for the first time, I was like constantly like anxiety level at a 10 because I like looked up to you guys so much. I'd watched you for 5 years, and so it was
Now
like
we've just
really
ruined
scary.
all of that over the course of the last 5 years. Just
Totally.
totally jaded.
Yeah. But no, I mean, to a future intern, you'll get used to it. Relax. It's gonna be scary, but you'll be fine.
Are you going to treat them harder than we
Yeah.
treated you?
I'm gonna
Okay.
be borderline emotionally abusive.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you've all been warned.
Yeah. And based on how y'all treated me, that's saying something, because
Yeah, we killed
For all
like
the listeners-
43 of you, I think.
yeah, it was brutal.
We're taking a step forward. Yeah. From physical death to only emotionally abusive. I feel like that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it weird when you came, like when you had to sign the contract initially and Jake was like, can you just sign over your DNA to us? Was that odd? And it like,
Yeah, well, I thought it was a DNR, which I
dude,
expected.
rookie mistake. I told you
Yeah.
he'd fall for it, dude.
Yeah, because the R and the A, they look so similar.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, and DNR means do not resuscitate.
yeah, and that I'm fine
Medical.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't, but
So you thought nothing was suspicious when I had you go to that clinic that one day to get your DNA?
I just figured it was like some kind of
it was a VFX test,
like
right?
vaccination type thing, you know. Didn't know if
Yeah.
anybody in the studio had like an autoimmune disorder or anything. Yeah, they like took like this much blood. It was weird.
Yeah. It's necessary, man.
Took this much
They
blood.
filled up a
Technology has
2
improved
liter
since then, man.
Dr. Pepper bottle with my blood. It was a really weird clinic.
They stuffed it in one of those mini fridge freezers. This is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. I mean, this version of you, is the best version we've had so far, so I think it was all for the best. And
Yeah, man.
yeah, dude. You're here to
I
stay.
think that's a great way to put it, Nick. This version of you is the best. And just, on a more serious note, it's been awesome to see you grow as an individual, as a creator. And, if you guys have videos that you'd like to see now that we've got Peter France officially in the crew, let us know in the comments. Yeah, Peter, man, this is gonna be great. This is, hopefully the start of many, many other projects, many other memes,
Hell
many other
yeah.
experiences. So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an honor. You guys are super genuine, funny dudes, and it's always a pleasure hanging out. So glad I get to do that for the indefinite future.
hell yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I'm excited for what we're going to make. Lots of cool stuff coming at you.
Alrighty, and don't forget to head over to corridordigital.com and check out one of those subscriptions.
Dude.
Just
Oh,
think
yeah.
about it. Just a
I'm
suggestion.
thinking about it.
Not required. Not required. We're just happy
Consider
to
it.
have you listening,
Yeah.
but consider it, for all the benefits that you get, the producer points, the 50% off merch. Christian's just gonna slowly fade out, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep hitting talking points. So. All right. Cool. All right. Well, guys, On to the next one.
Sweet. It's been an honor.
Dude, thanks for joining us, everyone. Slowly fade.